Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Swipe Up, episode 202. This is the show where I share my opinions on current events, things that are going on in the world, and my very unpopular opinions on them. Let's get it started, shall we, with something that's just insane to see. I mean, you're seeing pictures over and over again of all of these lake beds and rivers across the world drying up, right? They're finding old, abandoned ships, all these kinds of things. So massive drought. And in California, there is a massive drought as well that's been going on for a very long time. And there's restrictions in California for residents as far as how much water they can use. And despite the fact that there are restrictions, of course, golf courses are still pristinely lush and green. They get exemptions for whatever reason. Recreational activities for the wealthy and privileged are not subject to any kind of restrictions that would inhibit, somebody's pleasure of playing a stupid game during a time of historic drought. But there are celebrities that have been pointed out that have gone above and beyond the amount of water usage that they are allowed. And of course, they're being fined massive amounts, but money doesn't really replace the water that they used. It really doesn't. But it at least gives us a chance to highlight these celebrities that just don't give a fuck. They just don't give a fuck. They do not care about the survival of humanity and care more about their precious landscaped lawns of their mansions far more. Like, they would rather have their grass stay green than the potential for humans to run out of water. Because these are also the same kinds of people that probably own homes in many other places and can afford to ship massive amounts of water where, like, they don't ever drink regular water. Like, they've never consumed tap water in the last decade, I'm sure. But let's point out some of these celebrities who are accused of drought restriction violations. They're amongst the biggest names in entertainment and sports. They're also among the biggest users of water in the San Fernando Valley enclaves of Calabasas and Hidden Hills. Kim Kardashian, surprise! The Kardashians, the people who are known for doing nothing. A woman who's famous for releasing her own sex tape and then building a career off of it. Literally does nothing, who found some loophole in order to use her privilege and money to jump through a loophole to become a lawyer. Never ever actually going to law school or doing the things, following the path that every other person who becomes a lawyer has to do. She found some privileged person, some wealthy privileged shortcut to becoming a lawyer. And her two properties listed under a trust that the Times has confirmed is associated with Kim Kardashian received a notice of exceedance. Exceedance. Her Hidden Hills home and its adjacent lot, which together exceeded their June budget by about 232,000 gallons of water in 1 month. 232,000 gallons of water. Kevin Hart, one of the most annoying people, like, his voice is annoying. A guy who released a comedy special during the pandemic, filmed in his living room, I think, but pumped in a bunch of artificial laughter. A room that was full of maybe 20 people to sound like it was full of hundreds of people. Kind of sad. And just kind of annoyed. Like, his movies are not very good. But Kevin Hart, a 26-acre Calabasas property in the name of actor Kevin Hart, was on the list in June when it exceeded its budget of 117,000 gallons of water, or about 519% of the water allowance, records show. Moving on to Dwayne Wade. This is a bummer. Back before I stopped watching basketball, I grew up playing pickup basketball, loved the NBA. The last season of the NBA I remember watching, Dwayne Wade was a rookie. It was the same year that LeBron James was a rookie. It was also the same year that Carmelo Anthony was a rookie. And out of those three superstars, Dwayne Wade was the only one to go to the playoffs, I believe, or maybe the finals. They didn't do too well. I think they actually lost, but I was a big fan of Dwayne Wade, and I kind of stopped playing basketball and stopped watching basketball shortly after. So it is a bummer to see Dwayne Wade, the last basketball player that I was a big fan of before I stopped, like kind of cut that whole stuff, all that stuff out of my life. It's sad to see him on this list. But an $18 million Hidden Hills property listed under the name of former NBA star Dwayne Wade exceeded its allocated water budget in June by more than 1,400%, or 90,000 gallons. So it must have been, I don't know how this stuff is calculated, because he used less water than Kevin Hart, but the percentage is way over. So he must have a smaller property and just used a ton of water. It's amazing how much water these people are just absolutely wasting. It's disgusting. Moving on to another Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian. Kourtney Kardashian's a 1.86 acre, that's not even that big, 1.86, almost 2 acres, of property in nearby Calabasas exceeded its June budget by about 101,000 gallons, records show. Just the Kardashian family is absolutely, it's insane that people look up to them, that idolize them, that use them as inspiration. It is disgusting. It is like the peak. It is absolutely what is the most wrong with American culture. The fact that the Kardashians, who have done nothing no good to the world, like their water use aside, like their private jet use is detrimental. Like these are people that do not care about the environment, that do not care about humans, that only care about their looks, their own appearance, their own money. They absolutely do not care about anybody else. And for some reason, like people like them and like worship them. And it's like the most disgusting aspect, in my opinion, one of the most disgusting aspects of culture in the United States. The same type of disgusting culture that made people that like love Trump. It is just absolutely disgusting. And moving on to the next one, Sylvester Stallone, kind of a bummer, but you know, I'm sure after watching the last Rocky movie, after watching the last Rambo movie, it's clear that he is a right wing. Like that whole movie, Last Blood, Rambo Last Blood, like really felt like it was written by an angry white Fox News watcher, somebody that's just steeped in right wing propaganda. But Sylvester Stallone, an $18 million Hidden Hills property owned by Sylvester Stallone and his wife Jennifer Flavin, in June used about 533% more than its allocated budget, 230,000 gallons in excess. That's even more than almost him and Kardashian, just him and Kim at the top of the list. Absolutely disgusting. It's just like everything in this country is absolutely being destroyed by wealthy people. Not to mention the planet as a whole, the greed of corporations, which is, you know, just fueling this thing. I mean, these are only like celebrities. Like, these are just like cultural phenomenons. These aren't like these aren't like the owners of Exxon who are doing just as much bad. But it's sad. I mean, it's proof for all those crazy right-wing conservative people that think Hollywood is just full of liberals. Like, clearly look at this list and you're going to see a bunch of people that don't give a fuck, that are as selfish as you are, as selfish as all of the other conservatives that don't care about anybody but themselves, don't care that there's a massive drought going on, really value their green grass more than a human's ability to survive. That is insane. I want to take a quick break from the show to let you all know that there is official merch for the Ray Taylor Show. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com. You can get t-shirts, different artwork available, different designs, all on high-quality materials in all the sizes. There's also iPhone cases made of biodegradable material. That's right. This is not bad for the environment. This is good for the environment. So all of those designs that are available on t-shirts are also available on phone cases. Designed by me, sold by me. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com to support the Ray Taylor Show and promote it out in the world, so all of the people in your life can see that you are a fan of the Ray Taylor Show. Now, let's get back to that very show right now. But let's move on to just some more drought stuff. Some more, interesting things have been uncovered, not just bad stuff. It's not just about the wealthy people who don't care about human survival and would rather have their green lawns or green golf courses to play their stupid game. But we're seeing, like I said, there's like old warships that are being uncovered. There's dead bodies that are being uncovered out in Vegas. And this piece of news, 113 million year old dinosaur tracks uncovered amid heavy drought in Texas. So some crazy dinosaur footprints. Let me read. A set of dinosaur footprints in a Texas riverbed have resurfaced due to extreme drought in the region. The footprints are dated at 113 million years old. So no Christian believes this. According to Christians, the Earth has only been around for a few thousand years. So not even close to 113 million. So they must think that like some deep state agent or devil worshiper went and created these footprints somehow. I don't actually know what their delusional excuse would be for why there's 113 million year old dinosaur footprints, but you're definitely not seeing Jesus's footprints because the dinosaur was carrying him. So these 113 million year old and are believed to have belonged to two types of dinosaur species. Experts say the tracks, which were discovered at Dinosaur Valley State Park near the city of Glen Rose, would be hidden under layers of water and sediment in typical weather. According to park spokesperson Stephanie who spoke to CNN, one of the sets of tracks belonged to an Acrocanthosaurus, which was roughly 15 feet tall and weighed close to 7 tons as an adult. The other belonged to a Ceroposiodon, which was about 60 feet tall and weighed about 44 tons when fully grown. While these newer dinosaur tracks were visible for a brief amount of time, it brought about a wonder and excitement about finding new dinosaur tracks in the park, Grace said. She also added that any upcoming rain will cover the tracks and protect them from natural weathering and erosion. So I guess it's a temporary find. I'm sure they took measurements. I'm sure they took casts of them. I'm sure they did things. And I guess it's a place that's normally, when the rains come again and flood the area, they will be hidden again. Interesting. Interesting stuff. And big. And deep. Anyway, that is one of the interesting things, aside from like the collapse of civilization. Seeing all of these things that are being uncovered from the droughts that people don't believe is real. Like, it is absolutely insane that people don't believe that there's massive droughts. You know, and like globally, it's not like just Southern California people don't believe there's droughts, right? That's why they are okay with golf courses staying around, golf courses existing, because the drought is fake. Fake news. But it's like you're seeing droughts everywhere, like rivers in France drying up, rivers in China drying up, all these lakes in the United States drying up, like all of these places drying up. And it's insane. It's insane that people just don't believe it's real. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, how deep is your head in the sand to convince yourself? Absolutely insane. Let's move on to just, you know, the further turning back of society and child care and respect for children. Punishing students by swatting the buttocks with a paddle being brought back by Missouri school district. I also saw a map of all of the states that still have corporal punishment as legal. Beating kids, child abuse, physical child abuse as form of punishment in public schools. It's insane. Like, everything is being turned back, right? The America that the racist white people that Trump loved voting for him, right? All these racist white people that cover themselves in American flags and purchase like 15 different types of flags that all kind of promote all these different types of hate speech. You know, you got the American flag with the blue line. You got the Let's Go Brandon flag. They got the Trump as Rambo flag. They got the Trump 2024, the Trump 2020, the Trump 2016. They got all the Trump flags. They got like 30 flags hanging from the back of their pickup truck that's lifted with, like, you know, artificial testicles hanging from the hitch in the back. Right? The America that all these people worship and want to be back. They want segregation back. They want churches to run the country. They want anybody that has any kind of excess melanin in their skin to be treated like second-class citizens. They want women to be treated like second-class citizens. They want children eventually to be forced to go back to work, right? They already started passing laws in like Wisconsin to open up the time frame, the late hours that children can work, right? So they're already trying to roll that back. They're forcing women to give birth because they need unwanted people to become livestock to produce for the capitalist machine. And they feel that beating kids was the proper way to raise a child, to beat him into submission. That is how you train livestock to fall in line, by beating them, right? It worked well for the slave masters and the slaves. You know, they didn't have to pay for labor, which is another thing. They're slowly rolling back. I mean, making money as worthless as possible. So when you get a few bucks, it doesn't really matter. You know, working for minimum wage in this country is basically, might as well be slave labor because you can't afford to survive on a job. Why would you? Why would you? It's not that they're not paying. It's you're lazy. If only you put forth more effort in your job. It's stupid. And punishing kids. I remember I was reviewing a movie, an Indian film, where the teacher slapped the back of the kid's hand with a ruler as punishment. And that actually, I remember that happening to me because I colored a piece of corn the wrong color. I used the wrong color crayon to color in a piece of corn because I'm colorblind. I didn't know I was colorblind at the time, but the teacher was so offended that I used the wrong color crayon to color in corn that I had my hand slapped with a ruler and then forced to stand facing the corner for the rest of the class. And then my mom had to talk to the teacher had to talk to my mom after school. I got in trouble. I don't think I got in trouble from my mom, but, I got hit. I got physically punished and embarrassed in front of all of my students because of a disability that I was unaware of. Something that was out of my, just using the wrong color. Who gives a fuck? A piece of corn, I used the wrong color. By the way, corn comes in a lot of different colors. I must have chose the one crayon that doesn't accurately represent corn. But yeah, I can't imagine being beat by a teacher. I mean, fuck, they want to give teachers guns. Imagine that. Imagine the discipline when a teacher has a gun, right? A teacher's just angry at life. Maybe their husband left them. Their wife cheated on them. They lost a bunch of money in NFTs. The crypto market crashed. Like, they're angry for a million different reasons. A loved one got slaughtered in a mass shooting. Like, they have a mental break. Millions, infinite amount of reasons why an adult's brain could break. But you have a teacher who's angry and a weapon readily available because of the conservative belief that guns stop bullets. But imagine an angry teacher taking it out on a kid that's just being a kid and being annoying, right? You want to shut that kid up, maybe point a gun at him. Right now, the threat is the wooden paddle. Like, you want to experience pain? The same type of threat to point a gun at him. I mean, obviously, hopefully not shoot them, but just having a gun. For anybody that's never had a gun pointed at you by somebody that looks like they might pull the trigger, right? You have an angry adult point a gun at you. It's traumatizing, man. And of course, that's the go-to way to solve problems for the conservatives. Add violence. Add the threat of violence. Add the threat of death. That's how you control livestock. That's the best way. So it's disgusting. Also not surprising. Really, it's not. I would not be surprised if in the next few years there are states that start making second water fountains for people of color, right? It'll be for trans people. Or, they probably just wouldn't even allow them to drink water. You can't use the bathroom in a lot of states, I'm sure. We're rolling back human rights in so many places where conservatives have control, and it's absolutely disgusting because they are absolutely insane. And let's take a little break from the show to promote The Many Faces. That's right, I am also an artist. I do ink paintings on paper of abstract faces. A new face, a new painting gets released every single day over at inspireddisorder.com. So head on over to my website to purchase original artwork directly from the artist. Also, there are prints available for select images. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com, buy original art, buy prints if that's your jam, if you want 8x10 prints on high quality paper. Also, if you're looking to wear some art, there are shirts available with original artwork by myself. Select faces from The Many Faces are also available in t-shirt form. You go to inspireddisorder.com, you buy original artwork, you buy prints, you buy shirts. You're supporting an artist directly. And if you're the type of person that likes to invest in NFTs, there are also NFTs available for select faces. Go to inspireddisorder.com now. And now let's get back to the show. Let's move on to just another example of the insanity, the double standards, the complete hypocrisy that is just constantly being spewed by the conservative, by the GOP, by the Republicans, by the alt-right, by the ultra-conservatives, by the average Republican, I should say, actually. The White House Twitter account drags GOP politicians for loan forgiveness hypocrisy. For those that don't know, Biden forgave $10,000 of student debt. In some cases, $20,000. For whatever reason, everybody's acting on both sides. Liberals and conservatives are acting like Joe Biden canceled student debt. Joe Biden did not cancel student debt. He just canceled $10,000 to $20,000, depending on if you qualify, right? So let's just cool it down, okay? He didn't cancel student debt, which he should do, right? $10,000 isn't what college costs these days. So he's far from, like, maybe he covered some of the interest that they will have accrued. But he did not get anywhere near canceling. So let's not pretend like he's done this amazing thing, okay? Liberals, okay? I'm on your side, but let's not pretend like he's a miracle maker with this bullshit. These are just, it's another half step in a long line of half steps, right? The gun control stuff, very minor gun control. Now, obviously, if you look at the reaction of the conservatives, you would assume that he canceled student debt. If you look at the reaction of the conservatives when it comes to gun control, you would assume that Biden is actually hiring the IRS to go take their guns, right? Which they think is a current conspiracy theory that they have, that the IRS is going to take their guns. That's not the reality. Half steps are being done, right? He's doing the very bare minimum, which I'm glad. At least it's something, but I'm not about to pretend like he canceled school debt. And as far as the conservative side of the coin, overreacting at like this egregious thing, I love that the White House did this, where it shows that Marjorie Taylor Greene had $183,504 in PPP loan forgiveness, which this PPP loan thing makes me regret not getting PPP loans, because apparently that was just free money that people got. All of these PPP loans that all these politicians got, who are not business owners, you know, they work for the government. They get most of their money through private donations. And then they got these PPP loans. So, you know, $10,000, which a student may have received in loan forgiveness, not a lot of money, versus $183,000 from Marjorie Taylor Greene. You have Congressman Vernon Buchanan had $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven. Congressman Mark Wayne Mullen had $1.4 million in PPP loans forgiven. Congressman Kevin Hearn had over $1 million in PPP loans forgiven. Congressman Mike Kelly had $987,237 in PPP, almost $1 million. Like, might as well just say, I mean, of course, if it's under $1 million, you don't want to round up, because then they'll claim fake news. And all these people are like crying about it, like as if he forgave. Like, these are forgiven loans. 0 loans were forgiven for students. It's not like these people got $5,000 in forgiveness of their loans and students are getting $10,000. These people had just got free money, millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in free money, And they are whining and crying about students getting 10 grand, maybe 20 grand, maybe, for school bills that probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Congressman Matt Gaetz had $482,000 in PPP loans forgiven. It's just absolutely disgusting. And not to mention the amount of money that billionaires, millionaires, and corporations get for free, all these government handouts that those people get regularly. If poor people got the same free money, if poor people got the same government handouts that billionaires, millionaires, and corporations, the wealthy, get regularly, there wouldn't be poor people. There would be no poor people. And yet people like Elon Musk, like Tesla, like all these major corporations that get most of their capital from government subsidies, these people that go through tax loopholes so they don't pay anything into taxes, if that money actually went to regular people, to the actual working class people, the people that actually make this country a functioning country, there wouldn't be poverty. But instead, billionaires, millionaires, and corporations get free government handouts constantly. And then you have these poor, stupid white people, these stupid fucking conservatives crying on behalf of wealthy people. People that don't even pay taxes. Zero money that went to help students pay $10,000, maybe $10,000 of student loans. Zero of that came from Trump because Trump doesn't pay taxes. Zero money came from Elon Musk because Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes. Bill Gates, Bezos, all these people, tax loopholes, don't pay taxes. Corporations don't pay taxes. Survive on government subsidies. And these poor fucking dumb fucks will cry for them. On behalf of millionaires and billionaires, they will cry about the government. Oh, Biden giving this free money out. Why should a plumber pay for somebody's female studies class? Shut up. How much money are we wasting on wars? How much money are we wasting on police? Like, you want to talk about money? You want to talk about budgets? You want to talk about where tax dollars are being wasted? Wasted on actively killing people versus helping somebody pay for education, which should be free. But this idea on both sides, it blows my fucking mind that liberals and conservatives are both acting as if Biden canceled student debt. It's mind-blowing. Like, the cheerleaders are like, he did it. He did what he it's like, no, he didn't. 10,000 is not, like, the same thing with the gun control. The mild things that they passed are not going to do a lot of difference. And on the other side, I mean, as far as the conservatives blowing things out of proportion and constantly acting like victims because they're just so obsessed with being a martyr. They want to be Jesus Christ so badly that every situation is their execution, is their crucifixion. It's commonplace. They're always the victim. Always the victim. Anyway, let's do some shout outs and get out of here, shall we? Shout out to LA Times. Shout out to Now This News. And shout out Puberty. But most importantly, shout out to you. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com and follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.